And so as part of some of our internal investigations, it was discovered that some of our employees had availed themselves, as any Canadian, to apply for C.E.R.B benefits. To date, we have terminated 49 individuals.
This Guy's Garage. Like and subscribe.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and thank you to the witnesses for being here today. I would like to start with the Auditor General. I would like to read a couple of quotes from the bottom of page 32 and the top of page 33 of the report. It says, "During the audit, we were told that Employment and Social Development Canada and the Canada Revenue Agency had identified cases and referred some of them to law enforcement for investigation." And then a couple of points later, it says, "As of September 2022, the agency and the department had identified employees that claimed COVID-19 benefits." Is that to say that C.E.R.B and ESDC employees were referred to law enforcement for criminal investigation?
So yes, there were employees in Canada Revenue Agency and Employment and Social Development Canada that were identified having received payments, and there was an internal investigation that kicks off first. It's then up to the department and the agency whether they refer that case to law enforcement. But we felt that that investigation was the right first step.
Okay, well then I guess I will ask the witnesses from the C.E.R.B and ESDC how many employees were subject to internal investigation and how many cases were referred to law enforcement.
I guess maybe I'll back up for 1 second, just to say that when we look at the C.E.R.B, we treat public servants as general taxpayers, and if you violate the rules, you suffer the compliance efforts. So I don't have numbers right in front of me, not very many, obviously, and I don't believe any of those cases have gone into a criminal investigation. We have very strong internal investigation at the C.E.R.B, and we deal with it ourselves, and the discipline can range from not much, if it wasn't something, to termination.
May I just interject? I appreciate that answer, Mr. Hamilton. Could you provide this committee with the numbers? I'm afraid that not very many is not a sufficient answer. Would you be able to provide to this committee afterwards the number that were subject to the internal investigation?
Let me take that back, and I'll endeavor to get you those numbers.
Thank you.
And the same question to ESDC.
I'd be happy to answer that question. And so as part of some of our internal investigations, it was discovered that some of our employees had availed themselves, as any Canadian, to apply for C.E.R.B benefits on their own time. So I want to make it clear they did not use any internal systems in doing so. We did alert that up to our Chief Security Officer, and an administrative investigation did take place. Those individuals that did break the trust of the employer-employee relationship, as we reviewed for cause their security clearances, have been terminated. To date, we have terminated 49 individuals.
Okay, so just so that I'm clear, 49 now former employees of ESDC were terminated for fraud related to COVID benefits. Is that correct?
It would be in regards to misrepresentation of their situation when they would be applying for C.E.R.B.
Okay. And how many of those cases were referred to law enforcement?
There was no referral to law enforcement, as this was an internal investigation, and it was a review for cause in regards to breaking the code of conduct associated to the employees of all of our department.
And have the monies that those 49 employees received been clawed back, or are those still part of the ongoing investigations?
Those monies have been established as overpayments that must be repaid, and they are being treated as any other Canadian that received benefits they were not entitled to.
Okay, they must be repaid, but have they already been repaid?
They're in the process of being repaid. I would have to confirm the numbers that have been repaid.
Yes, could you please provide those numbers in writing to the committee?
Absolutely. And I know your earlier question was in regards to those external clients that perhaps demonstrated some fraudulent activities. We did discover that there was some fraudulent activities that did need to be referred to external authorities, and 12,000 of those cases were referred.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I would like to come back to the Auditor General and pages 32 and 33 of the report. I'd like to read a couple of quick quotes. As of June 2022, the department identified approximately 13,000 cases of identity theft in employment insurance emergency response benefit payments worth $7.9 million. And then the next point is, as of July 2022, the agency identified more than 23,000 cases of identity theft in COVID-19 benefit payments for individuals worth $131 million. And those 2 points are regrettably under the heading unrecoverable amounts. So is it safe to say that that $138.9 million is gone forever?
I'm not sure I can conclude on that because some of those cases were referred to law enforcement, and those activities have to continue to determine whether or not the parties in question can be found and whether amounts can be recovered. So it's impossible for me to tell you that it's hopeless. It's really probably maybe the department can give you an update, or we'd have to wait for time to pass on law enforcement to conclude on the cases.
Okay, well then maybe I will ask the witnesses from the C.E.R.B and the ESDC. Could you describe some of your activities with law enforcement as we go after these 36,000 cases of identity theft and the $138.9 million?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for the question. And I would say that in anticipation of the emergency benefits being launched, we understood that fraudulent activities would be increasing. And so we strengthened our anti-fraud controls and our measurements in regards to algorithms and other fraud detection capabilities. We prevented and put stop pays for more than 30,000 cases, demonstrating about $42 million savings. Some of the stop pays did not happen in a timely basis to be able to have prevented money from leaving the door, but we prevented further money from leaving the door. And we have, because of seeing that some of these fraudulent activities appear to be potential fraud schemes, this is where you have the 13,000 cases that were referred to the RCMP for follow-up. That represent, in our estimation, about $7.9 million. We stay in constant contact with our colleagues in their official duties. We will be told when they're ready to tell us where they're at in their investigation process.
Okay, and just for thoroughness, the fourth bullet point on that is related to $60 million worth of, we're under criminal investigation for the Canada Emergency Wage Subsidy. Is the fraud related to the wage subsidy following all the same processes as all the other cases of fraud?
Thank you for the question. Yes, it would be essentially the same process where we identified fraud, stopped some, but where we weren't able to do it, we refer it to the authorities if we can't handle it ourselves. And that, I think it is miscast under the title of unrecoverable amounts, because I think that chapter hasn't been written yet, so we are hopeful that we will be able to get recoveries on some, if not all of that.
Well, I appreciate all the hard work that all the departments involved have done. I mean, I think it was heroic efforts accomplishing almost an impossible task under very trying circumstances. So I thank you all for what you've done.